to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, and today we conclude a wonderful month of sci-fi movies with Looper, released on September 28th, 2012, written and directed by Rian Johnson. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you, and what a way to conclude this month. I did not know what we were getting into. Obviously, I knew it was Rian Johnson. I know I love Rian Johnson. I had faith that I was going to enjoy this movie a great deal, but I didn't realize something was going to top Sunshine for me this month. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm right in that same boat. Yeah, no, this is the winner of March of the movies, and I don't know, with Tron in there, I thought like it was kind of an easy win for Tron, but no, surprisingly, Looper and Sunshine beat it out. But Looper, remains the king, I think, pretty easily for me here. Rian Johnson, I don't know, he has a thing for just unraveling these twists and beautiful, I don't know, just character work, and I'm beginning to love the man as well. And I don't know, any Knives Out, the next Knives Out movie, I don't know, I'm getting more and more excited for it. The more
Dead Man is gonna be so, and that's this year, man. That's this year. We're gonna cover that whenever it comes out. Obviously, maybe we'll do a little Knives Out precursor because I don't think we've ever covered them by themselves. But which is kind of insane. But yeah, man, I'm a big Rian Johnson fan. This was my I think my fifth Johnson film because Knives Out, Glass Onion, The Last Jedi, of course, and then Brick and Looper. Brick was his first movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which is still it's strange where I'm at. You know, if you told me 4 years ago. If you told me 1 year ago, actually, let me rephrase that, that Knives Out wasn't even a top 3 Rian Johnson for me, I'd tell you to fuck off.
That is,
that's
actually kind of nuts.
That's insane. Yeah. Do you know how good of a fucking filmmaker you have to be for Knives Out to not be top 3 for you? Like, that's kind of crazy. Man. And I've only watched 5 of his fucking movies, and for 4 and 5 to be the Knives Out movies is kind of insane.
Damn. Does it go Looper, then Knives, or Last Jedi? I wonder if that one.
Last Jedi's one. Last Jedi's one. Okay. That's the best. That is the best Star Wars movie since Empire. So it's just got to be. So The Last Jedi, and then Brick or Looper are 1, 2, or 2, 3, I should say. I don't know what order, but incredible movies. Incredible filmmaker with just a really, really keen visual sensibility. I think that there's something so clean about the way his movies look. It's really, really fascinating that they're almost, I don't know how to say this properly because it almost sounds like an insult, but it's not. His movies don't have anything that stylistically feels unattainable. You know, it's like, it feels like it's just somebody who has a really nice camera going out and shooting some shit, you know, like it doesn't feel like anything that's impossible to do. It doesn't feel like, whoa, the production design that and the thought of every angle that had to go into every single moment was exponential. But there's always something so tangible and clean about it. It always looks so good. I love dude.
That's the word
There's something
that comes.
Beautiful about his photography.
Yeah, clean. It's he makes it look effortless, I feel like. Yeah. Like it's like someone could go out and do this, but could they do it this
they
well?
Won't. They won't. That's the thing. He makes it look so easy. That's what's really incredible about it. And that's why, like, Brick, I would love to cover that at some point, but there's something really cool about this being the precursor to The Last Jedi. This is the movie that basically books him that, which is kind of insane. and then thereafter Knives Out and Glass Onion, he's become really, really polished. You know, like he's a really, really, he's got his thing, he does his thing, it's fucking good, and we go. You know, we move. The thing about Brick that I really, really love is that it's like, it's not as polished. It does feel rough around the edges, and it's just him throwing shit at the wall stylistically, so it makes it the most unique. But when you have a story that anchors this movie like this, god damn, is it hard to beat. I loved this shit. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis as, you know, the older and younger counterpart of the same character. I love the prosthetics and effects on Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think those look really, really good. They never actually, I thought every time I've seen a picture of him in this movie, I always thought it would be kind of distracting to watch this movie because I know what Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks like, and while it's kind of like that, it's not exactly like that, and I thought that would be enough for me to think about it the whole time, but it looks good. It looks great the whole time. And he looks like a young Bruce Willis. It's really impressive.
The eyes too, man. I don't know. It was like they were popping on him. I don't know. I haven't really watched too much young Bruce Willis. I guess the youngest Bruce Willis I really have is Die Hard. Is that like, I'm trying to think of anything
88
before.
89.
What is Moonrise? He's pretty old.
Moonrise was 2012, so
he's old.
That was that was actually the same year as this.
Yeah, so
big 2012.
He does go a little Die Hard, actually. You know, for a little bit, Bruce Willis gets to go ham and take down everybody. And I don't know. I guess I've always known Bruce Willis as like this big. You know, he's a huge name in Hollywood, but I've never really seen a whole lot of his stuff. Or I've never really gotten just a whole lot of them. But then little, you know, like Moonrise and then here and Die Hard, I'd say are the biggest three of him that I have. And this one, I don't like. It was very. I feel like his role in this one's not too big, you know. Or
no,
anything,
actually,
but
much smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
You know, like he kind of pops up towards the end of the movie, and I was like, "Oh wow, I haven't seen him in a while." Like we've been locked in, and I think it's really cool. There's that moment whenever young Joe and old Joe sit down at the diner and talk to each other, and they like talk to each other, and you're like, oh, they haven't opened their mouths in a long time. Like nobody's spoken in a while, and I think that's a wild thing to effectively do. Like where it's not like there was no dialogue. You know, you have Jeff Daniels' character talking quite a bit, and the other Ryan Johnson regular playing Kid Blue. What's his name? Noah Sagan. Sagan. Noah Sagan is probably more accurate. He's the guy who kind of pops up in every Ryan Johnson thing, you know. He's the guy in Glass Onion who's I'm just kind of here, you know. He's the guy in Knives Out who's like Lakeith Stanfield's partner. Lakeith Stanfield's partner who like idolizes Daniel Craig a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Like him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt find their way into every Ryan Johnson thing, which is incredible. So I love that they got a chance to. I don't know. I don't think he's played quite as substantial a role in any of Johnson's movies as he has this one, as far as what I've seen. Because I didn't realize he was as good an actor as he is able to put on in this one.
Even Paul Dano, you know, for the beginning, showing up there was awesome. He gave, you know, not maybe the performance of the movie, obviously, but like whenever he was, you know, on the run and knocking on the window and kind of going like, what do I do? What do I do? And I don't know. I love any more Paul Dano.
Me some
like
Paul Dano, man. That's what's, dude, and Emily Blunt, obviously. Who doesn't get introduced until like 45 minutes into the movie also, which is very cool. I've got an interesting relationship to Emily Blunt as far as my enjoyment of her performances. I never think she's bad by any stretch of the imagination. She's always good, you know, like Oppenheimer, incredible. Edge of Tomorrow, incredible. I mean, even The Fall Guy last year, I thought her and Ryan Gosling did a lot with a little, you know. But for some reason, I've never loved her. I don't know what it is. It's just like I've respected her craft, but she came on screen with that gun and was like, "I will cut you the fuck down." And I was like, "Okay, let's roll." I don't know what it was about this portrayal, but I loved Emily Blunt in this movie, dude.
This Dolores, from Westworld, kind of radiating that energy a bit. This is my kind of woman, right here. I don't know. This was like I want to meet this one. I don't know. I feel like this is maybe not the best way to meet them. To be threatened to be cut in half and all that. But it's just some salt or in there,
rock salt.
Rock salt. That's gotta still not feel too great.
Oh, it doesn't feel good. No,
but
scarring for sure.
But no, this I don't know. I love this her like little setup she had. Just a little farmhouse. This was was nice. And then just being pure mother. Kind of just in. I'm kind of going back. I think she truly is. She truly is the real mother. I believe her at face value of what she tells.
Yeah, I do too.
I guess middle.
I don't think she has any reason to lie about that. Yeah. I think it's just the other kid. The kid Sid doesn't view her as his mother. Like I think that's all.
Because she abandoned. I guess she truly did kind of abandon him as a kid and let him. Let Sid grow up with his sister, and she said that she was kind of in the city, I guess, or kind of just going, all dolled up, which was kind of the other detail that I was kind of picking at was she was in the city all in her dress, all dolled up at a party, whatever, and then the girl that young Joe goes and finds is kind of in the similar fashion and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I think she truly is the mom. I guess I was going on a theory of where the sister was actually the mother, and then so the mom did die. And there's kind of like a Rainmaker prophecy sort of thing where it's like he sees his mother die. He has this prosthetic jaw. He ends every loop, or there's these weird details that people throw in about him. And I love the mystical, I don't know. There are a lot of things that are just left vague in the movie. I love that. It lets me go wild.
Dude, this is an all-time time travel movie. I'm hard pressed to tell you that there's any I off the top of my head enjoy more. I'm like Terminator.
Yeah, no.
And even then, I don't think I enjoy that as much as this. Terminator's just got that classicness to it that's hard to deny.
Interstellar is it's not really time travel. It's more time dilation. It's just I love me some Interstellar. I can't get past that.
Yeah, Interstellar. If that is a time travel movie, it's a different kind of time travel movie for sure. Yeah.
No,
but yeah, man. As far as the rules of time travel, stereotypical, you go back, and even that doesn't really abide by. The present selves interact with the future selves willy-nilly. That's something they just do. It's and they're just be careful, we can't affect too much, that's all. It's not we can't even talk to each other. Two people in the same reality that are the same person will break the fucking fabric of space. No, fuck all that. I love that. I love that they're no, that's stupid, fuck that.
And even in the diner too, Bruce Willis is just all right, I don't want to be here talking about time travel shit. We'll be here making diagrams with straws all day, and it's
exactly.
It's kind of a little fourth wall breaky, a little bit of Rian Johnson maybe just being what,
sure.
Don't think about it too hard, because if you do, there's actual paradoxes. There legitimately you can't get around time travel paradoxes, and it's just enjoy the movie, sort of thing. Just enjoy the character development. That's what it's there for. The time travel is just to give it the juice, it's just to give it a different thing that you can't do in real life, and I don't know, the world they set up is sick. It's once time travel is invented, crime is basically solved. You can't dispose of a body without just, I don't know, you can't be a criminal, so you have to send someone back in time to get rid of their body. And I thought, maybe when I was watching this, I thought that they were always killing themselves, different versions of themselves over and over and over, or that they were only killing loopers over and over and over. And I thought that was going to be the reveal. I thought they was going to take the bag off of their head, and they were going to realize it was just different ages of themselves or something like that. And then, but no, it didn't. I love that my brain was allowed to go crazy at moments, but then at times it was just no, it is just old Joe and young Joe. And, I did kind of go on a ramble of thinking Sid was Joe at one, they were all the same person, sort of thing. I think I've left that theory.
That's good.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like there's just so much in this movie that is very, very exciting. And when it comes to that last act, you are getting hit with thing after thing after thing after thing. I do appreciate what's left, like you said, unsaid, sort of. One of my favorite things that I am certain about in this movie that it never actually says is that Jeff Daniels is Noah Sagan. Kid Blue is Abe.
Oh yeah,
I'm certain of that. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like the way he's like, you're gonna sit this one out. I don't need you getting killed because like all that stuff. I don't need you going cowboy and all. Like he's protecting himself so that he doesn't disappear. It's I love that stuff. I think that's good. I love the and the ending is obviously like, I hate going with the ending of the movie as my favorite scene, but dude, it's not possible. Like it's just it's a gut punch, and it is so goddamn good. But yeah, during that moment, whenever he's watching as Bruce Willis points that gun at Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt's protecting Sid, and he's having that internal monologue where he's imagining her getting mowed down. I saw it. I saw a mother who would die for her child, and a man who would kill for his wife, and a kid on a train. And I realized the loop doesn't. This path is a circle, round and round. So I changed it. During that moment, whenever they show the kid on the train, and he explained that that's what happened to him. For a split second, I was like, no fucking shot, right? And then when they cut back to him, the deciding factor for me is that and I mean, like, there's a lot more, but in that moment, the thing that it took was that he doesn't reach his hand out and use TK powers. If he had done that, it would have been like, he definitely is Sid, but he shoots himself, because he doesn't have those powers. And so, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot more reason why I don't, but in that specific moment, I thought he's about to use the power if he is Sid and he's protecting himself, and then he doesn't. So I'm like, he's not,
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I guess if I would have loved if young Joe would have had just one little moment of like TK or something, something like that to give. That would have really given me a lot more juice to go on.
Yeah, but there's nothing there, and that's why like I think that is a very specific choice to prevent you from fully believing that, because I don't think you're not alone in this. I'm assuming you looked up. You looked up things the way that I did. This is a conversation about this movie. Is Sid Joe? And I really don't think so. And it seemed that that's kind of the conclusion most people come to. Also,
yeah. The Sid being Joe theory is kind of I've foregone it a little bit. The one I like a lot more is that like Sid is still the Rainmaker. Like this is actually the true Rainmaker sort of thing, and that it took like, I guess this is getting really, really like time travel-y and whatever, but like because there was two Bruce Willises that came back. One of them was unmasked, and the one where he chose to come back, and then there was the one that young Joe did kill to close his loop. Like then the 30-year timer was on.
Then that Joe grew up to be the one who willingly comes back. Yeah.
And so there's this kind of like, or like there is this linear path, but not really. It is still a loop, but like kind of at least this sort of time travel is like a multiversal. Is if you kind of like one change makes an alternate sort of reality after it's done, and like you kind of like with the ending, that's kind of what you want. You want Joe's decision of killing himself to actually cause a new reality, to change, so that you can keep going. And so the idea is that there's like there's infinite versions of Joe, and but they always go in the same loop. They always create this bad version of the Rainmaker sort of thing. And Joe killing himself, that's the one final act of like, then he finally never exists ever for the evil Rainmaker to exist. So now only the good Rainmaker can exist, sort of thing. So like it's the rain, and people think that the Rainmaker knows that, like he knows this. He is the one who discovered time travel. He is putting all of these things in motion to create the good Rainmaker, sort of thing, to get
so like
rid
the bad
of
Rainmaker
all of
hates
them.
who he is. Yeah.
And he knows that the only way to, I guess, to change things is to grow up with his mother and in that, I don't know,
Well,
be
and that's what's interesting is that, like, obviously the loop, there's a lot going on here, you know. We see the loop where Bruce Willis just gets sent back and shot, you know. But this has happened who knows how many times. How many times has Bruce, like, because I imagine, and this is what's tough, is that, like, the loop's not perfect every time. And this is where, like, logic, like, oh, you're thinking about it a little too hard. Don't think about it too hard. Because, like, there's the times when he just gets sent back and shot. Okay. So the Rainmaker just grows up kind of unchecked. There was never a sacrifice for him to grow up, so maybe he abuses his power instead of. And then there are other loops where Bruce Willis does make it out, and he does manage to kill Sid's mom. You know, like that also happens, and thus creates the evil Rainmaker. Also, so like I think that no matter what, evil Rainmaker is what's on the horizon, unless a looper sacrifices himself for Sid. Is kind of what I took it as. You know.
And it being Joe being the final looper, like, because old Joe took out the rest of the operation.
True.
Like everyone else is dead. So like in this moment, all of the loops have been closed once Joe pulls the trigger on himself. And I feel like that was one of the kind of, I don't want to call it a prophecy line, but it kind of feels like it of like the Rainmaker. Like it was like if these things come true, then Rainmaker exists, sort of thing. And you know, one of them just being like he's alone. He does this alone, and he is just obsessed with closing all loops. Like that's his goal. That is, he just wants to close all loops. And at this moment, like it's done. Like every loop is closed. But then if you know, time still goes on. It's 2044 or whatever. Time travel hasn't even been invented yet. So it will be discovered, and then it will be made illegal, and then the loopers will inevitably exist again, right, and become a thing. And then, so like that's why I thought that maybe there is like still a chance that Sid could grow up to become young Joe somehow and have some event that causes him to lose his powers, lose his memories, something, I don't know. And that's why there's a lot of other things that have to happen.
There's just way too much that would have to happen that's not in the movie. Yeah.
It feels like at least that even now, like time, like even with the change that young Joe made and a good Rainmaker will exist, time travel still has to be discovered. And like it's still, it feels like the same, like, maybe his sacrifice was for naught, sadly. You know, like it might still kind of fall into the same thing. I'd like to believe that, you know, he grows up to be a lot better of a Rainmaker, you know, sort of thing. And the world this is the first reality of a different world, and the discovery will be different. But I don't know. Like the one thing that a lot of people like to talk about is that the truck that has all the silver and gold that was dumped out is still there. And if the loops were all closed and everyone was disappeared, then that truck would never have existed at all, and all the silver would have never existed, so that would have disappeared whenever Joe pulled the trigger as well. But it didn't.
So because it all got sent back.
Yes, so people think that not disappearing means that the Looper organization still remains and will continue.
And I would, that's the thing too, is that like, whenever Bruce Willis is like, he came back and he's destroying all the loopers, you know, he's destroying all of it. Joe does say that would require an army.
Yeah.
Which tells me that Bruce Willis didn't wipe out all the loopers. He wiped out all the loopers in this city.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
You know, like he wiped out this sect
Hmm.
of the organization. You know, there's a big world out there. I can't imagine this is the only
That's fair.
people utilizing it.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, I guess I kind of thought of this as the only time machine. I guess. Yeah, but yeah, it's probably no. Yeah, this is a.
But no,
Huh.
I mean, regardless, though, that's why I'm like, I do think that there's something to the idea that the good Rainmaker will obviously grow up and, you know, you say that time travel will be discovered.
Mhm.
Yes. But since he is growing up good, I think they're like the way that I like to look at it is a little bit more optimistically. Not that like this sacrifice would be for naught, but you know, previously the bad Rainmaker let all of it come to pass so that he could get revenge. You know,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know, like now if he doesn't let it come to pass and prevents it from the start, maybe not time travel, but maybe with someone as influential and as good as he is, there could be something that changes for the better, you know? Like so, and again, that's completely intangible. It's something that the movie doesn't give you any indication on what the Rainmaker would now grow up to be. Maybe it could be for nothing. Maybe it changes the world. And I think that leap of faith is what reflects really, really positively on young Joe. Kind of believing that to make the world a better place for future generations, for children who are like him when he was younger and all that. For this kid specifically, the best shot he has is if he mows down old Joe,
Damn.
and therefore himself.
And
So I think it's like the first thing he's done for someone aside from himself the whole movie too. So it just hits hard.
To sit there and realize that like you yourself grow up to be a child like you are okay with killing children, like and it is it's a time travel he knows this person grows up to be the killer of his wife, but beautiful decision. Beautiful that it's unknown, that it's 3 kids, you know, that it isn't exactly known, and that he does just have to murder 2 children before, like he straight up murders children, and then for young Joe to be like, oh my god, that's me, like I am okay, like that
I'm doing
like
that,
holy shit, and then like he just realizes,
and then using that, like that's what's crazy too, is that old Joe has to make that choice for young Joe to realize he's not that person. You know, like
what is it's so, I don't know,
time travel, man. It's
Oh
gnarly.
my
So like
God.
because old Joe decides he's going to murder children, it makes young Joe realize he doesn't want to become that person, so he goes out of his way to be a better person. It's good. It's really, really good. And
now
the second kid doesn't successfully kill the second kid, right?
second kid, what
The one who was his girlfriend's daughter?
second girl?
The one where he goes into the room and Kid Blue is in the room and waiting for him.
Oh, that's
preying
right.
on him.
Okay, no, he definitely does just point blank kill the first kid. That kid definitely dies.
That
the
kid's
second one,
done.
Yeah, he goes to the apartment. Oh no, he gets found. Yeah, before he kills the. Does he
Yeah.
get? Oh, okay, yeah. So the
He
second,
goes to the kid's room and that's where Kid Blue is hiding.
Oh,
they never
that's
even.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just. Yeah, bro just. Oh no, he found him on the cameras. That's right. I was thinking if
That's
maybe
right,
his
yeah.
older self like knew from the future or some shit, you know,
No,
and whatever.
no.
But no. The one interesting thing is Sarah from the future. Like she knows of loopers. She's like, oh, you're a looper.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And you know, her TK seems to be a little better than others, you know, like everyone can just barely float a coin, but she is like floating a Zippo lighter like it's nothing. And then obviously we have Sid, who is mega, you know, TK. So I feel like it makes sense that
like he's a descendant of hers.
yeah. So, but her, I don't know. I think maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe she's just on her own. She's like honed it better herself. I don't know, but it feels at least that it's like TK feels like if you're from the future and you come back. Well, no, because old Bruce Willis doesn't. Yeah, if Bruce Willis had TK, then that would have changed things maybe. But he never tried. I don't know. Maybe like if you just come back in time, depending on how long, like far into the future you are, that the stronger your TK powers
Right.
are. Yeah, no, I don't know. I know I'm trying to think.
No, that's where
too
I'm like, I
logical
don't
about it, but
Yeah, I'm like, I think that I don't think it would make much sense for Emily Blunt's character to be from the future.
yeah,
Mostly because, and obviously it could be sent from any range of time, but the only way that would work, and go with me here, is if you were drawing the comparison between the girlfriend and Emily Blunt. Is if Emily Blunt is the daughter who Bruce Willis fails to find and gets captured instead of, grows up about 30 years, and then gets sent back in time to raise this kid.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Young Joe and the girlfriend, they have a kid, and that kid is Sarah.
I really don't want that.
Yeah, because now it's not that he fucked his mom, it's that he fucked his... Yeah, no, this is bad. So no.
That's worse. Yeah, it's a lot worse. That's why I'm like, no, there is no... That's why I'm like, there's no relation between Sarah and Joe, which is important.
Yeah.
There is no relation between Sarah and Joe.
Better that
but
way.
that was some... You brought it up just now. I was curious about it. Is there any chance that the girlfriend's daughter is his? Was old Joe kind of ready to kill his kid?
Yeah. That. I mean, I would assume like it has to be, right. Like, there's no way they give them their little love story. And
I mean, dramatically, yes, that would make. But like, also dramatically, if you wanted to emphasize it, that would make it hit a lot harder. That's the other thing, though, is that like. But then does it just add a whole other layer to things that's like, oh God, now people are going to be trying to pick this apart and all that stuff. What do you decide to not mention?
They don't go into that, but it feels pretty like, I mean, I'm like 99% confident there that Kid Blue is just a young Abe, and they never, I don't know, nothing is ever clarified there. I think, like there's the only other old person we get is old Paul Dano, which, sadly he just I didn't put it together
that
at
sequence
first.
Fucking rules.
Yeah, I thought that he was just like degrading because time travel was like getting to him, but then it's like, no, they have his young body and they're cutting off, like they're torturing him, and then it's happening to his old body too, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, oh my, that's terrible. And then because like the message like written on his arm, he's like, oh, my future self must be, or my past self must be giving myself a message, so he's like, I must follow it. And then it's like, damn, no, it's actually just
the sequence whenever young Joe leaves a note for old Joe and it says Beatrix, and then at the diner he's like, there's somebody else who works here on weekends. Jen.
Damn.
He's like, yeah, that would have been better.
Damn, man. And like, I mean, is that really the best way to go about it? Like that big of a, like, why not just do it on the hand? Why go the whole fucking, I don't know. That feels like a,
fine point. It's hard to write with a knife. I imagine.
That's fair. I guess. Not the easy. I'm not used to writing with knife and skin. So fair enough,
not on my skin or anything. But maybe a tattoo gun or something. I don't know.
But no, like, I love the. Like, if I do want to sit down and truly think about this movie really hard and break down all the time travel stuff, I can probably poke some holes in whatever. But like,
I mean, you could do that with any time travel movie.
But like I think it's surprising that like of how closed like it actually is. Like most, like even though it is vague and I think I can theorize as all hell, it's like, it is still very tight-knit, and like nothing is ever really confusing, or like I'm never lost. I'm never like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? It's like, no, this is old Joe, this is young Joe. He's, I don't know, like they all have their very clear motives. They're all on, I don't know, they all have very clear plans, and I think the only mysterious one is kind of Sid, but he's just a kid, you don't think he's planning anything, but it's like, I don't know, is this kid?
No, the kid's scary though.
He's smart.
He
whenever he walked down the stairs, hit the little thing in the back of the room to make that guy walk back, went in the tunnel, like he knew that shit would happen. I feel like that's why like I feel like he might be, I don't know, like he somehow could be from the future, or he has an ability. I don't know, something.
That kid is a great fucking actor, by the way. Pierce Gagnon, Gagnon.
Yeah,
very good. You will actually see him in something else we're covering. Before, I mean, it'll be a while. This kid's in Twin Peaks: The Return, baby. Let's go.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed. It's 6 years on, so he's still a kid, but
okay. Wow.
but he's definitely older.
He discovers time travel in Twin Peaks. Yes,
yeah,
he is the one.
Exactly,
he's the one who goes in there, and he's the ultimate TK user as well. Bro is gonna change the game.
So we got that to look forward to. Has a lot of scenes with Kyle MacLachlan, which is good. But
okay,
wow. There's I was like, this kid looks so fucking familiar, and then it clicked for me, and that was it.
Wow.
What a
Twin
Peaks, baby.
That is crazy. Twin Peaks connection. It feels right. It has to be.
It has to be.
And I don't know if we are getting into time travel stuff over there. That doesn't really feel like it, but it could be a possibility, which is crazy.
Right.
But yeah, no, that no other connections, right? No one else in here is popping up.
I don't believe so. Not off the top of my head.
Who's I don't know. Old Paul Dano kind of looked familiar, but I couldn't get it. And yeah, even his IMDb's not really doing anything for me. So that it's
it doesn't look like he's
in the Vampire Diaries. What? No way. Is that actually? No, he's in one episode. There's no way that's it.
Yeah.
That was like that's no. Yeah, nothing's doing it. I don't know. He did look really familiar, but I couldn't.
I think he reminded me of I feel like he reminded me of someone from Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy for some reason.
Yes, whenever his nose started to go off, like it's like a Sandman.
He reminded me reminded me of Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah, maybe it was.
He didn't look exactly like Thomas Hayden Church, but he reminded me of Thomas Hayden Church. I think is all that it took.
Thank you for saying Spider-Man, because I thought I was going to be crazy for saying it, but I'm like, no. It felt okay. I think that's it now.
Well, and also the way that he shot does that for me too, like the on the run and the like. I think it really is just reminding me of the Sandman sequence from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, bro actually runs up to a fence, a chain link fence. I think straight up does the same shit. So yeah, wow,
exactly. That's why I'm like, I think literally just like the notes of a previous movie were emanating, and this guy vaguely resembled somebody else, and that was enough. But going back to the Paul Dano in this movie though, something I do on Letterboxd, I do actor filmography rankings. I have to have and I have arbitrary rules for myself. I do the same thing with directors. Directors, I have to have seen 4 of their movies to start ranking their filmography, just because it's a full row. It's just more satisfying instead of it being 2 or 3. That's I don't know. I got to get to 4. But for actors, I got to get to 8. I have to watch 8 of their movies. This was the 8th Paul Dano movie I've watched.
Okay.
So
nice.
I got to add him to that list. But I also already had an Emily Blunt, and I already had a Bruce Willis. And something that it made me realize, this is insane. The best filmography in this movie is Paul Dano.
Wow.
Which is crazy when you have
Bruce Willis
wow. Bruce Willis, I've got, and don't get me wrong, some will disagree with that. Bruce Willis, you got Moonrise Kingdom, Pulp Fiction, Die Hard, The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, don't get me wrong, that might not be a popular opinion, but Emily Blunt, the only movie she's been in that I hold higher than this is Oppenheimer. That's it. Paul Dano. So for Willis and Blunt, I have this top 3 for both of them. 3 for Willis, 2 for Blunt. Paul Dano, this is at 5th.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got a couple for Paul Dano
because the Fabelmans, the Batman, and then Prisoners and There Will Be Blood is what I have above them. Those are some. That's a crazy good filmography, dude. That's insane.
Yeah, Prisoners has been one I've been wanting to get around to. Yeah, that's been.
It's good. It's good. You will quite enjoy Prisoners whenever I'm sure we'll find a way to get around to that as well, because Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Paul Dano,
Mm-hmm.
Denis Villeneuve. So maybe there's something in the something in the cards for us there.
Good old Denis.
But Denis. Villeneuve, I feel like is actually how you pronounce his name. I remember hearing people at the Oscars saying Villeneuve, and I was like, oh,
Villeneuve.
interesting.
Is that
Villeneuve.
French? Is that
He's French Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have no French knowledge, so that is I can't. It looks Spanish almost. Villeneuve. Like if Spanish pronunciation is nuts. If you go
Villeneuve.
That's crazy, but.
But regardless, I don't know, man. I thought that this movie was in classic Rian Johnson fashion. There's a lot of heart. There's a lot of sentimentality, which is something that I really, really always appreciate in a director. I think that he manages to get like dark, gritty stuff on screen while still anchoring it with a certain positivity. That's how we win, not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love.
Yep.
Line from Rose Tico in The Last Jedi kind of feels like it defines Rian Johnson's philosophy as a filmmaker, kind of. I do this out of love, not out of spite, which is good. When he's telling his stories, that always feels like a central idea for our heroes, anyway.
I think it's a big surprise that this is the least feeling sci-fi movie of the month, but the most I've been able to theory juice and got I feel like I got the most sci-fi out of it, which is crazy. Maybe Sunshine.
Yeah, Sunshine,
nice.
We're in space, and Pacific Rim, we've got giant monsters and robots, and AI is all about fucking robots, and Tron's got a video game. Like, the thing is that this is the one that's set in the tangible real world with only a couple differences, one of them being that time travel is going to be invented. And they've got like hover cars and stuff, and their phone screens are, they can like collapse them fully and then like open them up, which is really, really interesting. I love the I love the idea that they barely removed. I mean, what's crazy is this is now 13 years ago, so now it's only 20 years away, but then it was 30 years away.
Damn. That's okay.
And there is something that's like, I don't know, like this doesn't feel too far-fetched for the reality in which we could exist in 20 years. Like, it does feel the most like, Sunshine, I sure hope that the sun doesn't dim to half its strength in the next 30 years, but the stuff that happens in this movie does feel a lot more like, not the time travel stuff, but like just the production design, the cities, all that stuff does feel more likely than any other sci-fi movie we watched this month.
It was surprise. I did not think that this would be the undeniable king of March, but it is quite easily. I don't know. Yeah, this one was very, very, I don't know. It felt just full. I've loved every movie that we've watched, but like there was always kind of a little, it felt like it wasn't fully complete. I think it may be just the heart of it all. Like that is really what completes a movie.
That's the difficulty of science fiction, though, like whenever science fiction is done really, really well, it does resonate like this, I think that, and don't get me wrong, like, not to say that the other movies weren't done really, really well, but it's something that, like, specifically with books, I don't have this problem with movies as much, but I think it's something to consider that science fiction requires a lot of exposition. It requires a lot of explaining to do. And that can keep you at arm's length. It can keep you just kind of distant, kind of trying to analyze the story from an outside perspective, not enveloping you into the story. And this doesn't make any effort to explain things intricately. It just kind of goes, time travel hasn't been invented yet, but this is what we do. Like the most exposition is in the introductory sequence where it's like, yep, this is what we do. This is how we do it. That's the launching off point for the movie, and the rest of it you just kind of have to accept as it comes.
Yep.
Which is very, very strong. I think that we when it came to like Sunshine, there's a lot of scientific specifics that you have to you follow along with, and you kind of go, oh, that explains why they're doing this. You don't really need that explanation, but they're explaining it anyway. Pacific Rim, I think that the kaiju, like the reason the kaijus are coming out of the water is kind of like the big revelation of the movie, and that's a big expository dump. Tron learning about the video game world, the grid. It's a lot of the movie. AI is kind of the only other one that I think tonally is comparable to this one.
Yeah,
which
true.
is interesting.
Yeah, that the first act of AI definitely has a lot. I don't know, a lot of heart to it. And it carries out. I think it comes back around at the end. For sure. This one, it feels like it's continuous. Like this one is, you don't really have that stretch in the middle where it is just kind of another Joe, crazy.
Yeah. No, but like when Gigolo Joe goes, I am, that's not a moment that I felt was earned. The end of this movie feels incredibly earned. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the difference. I think that Rian Johnson just has a really, really keen understanding of the characters he wants to portray. I think he has a really, really keen visual sensibility, and a unbelievable sense for action, dude. Like the sequence where Bruce Willis overthrows the Looper hideout is fucking sick, dude. I love that shit.
Dual wielding P90s. Come on, man. Yeah, just I don't know. I love Bruce Willis going in, just going ham, just taking. I wasn't worried about him one bit. I knew he was killing every single person in there.
Dude, whenever he's outside the door and Jeff Daniels and his cronies are like, "Oh fuck," like they like bend, they like turn the table over and stuff. They don't even show them dying. They just show Kid Blue showing up. Oh, dude, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I don't know. That was another line, a line I didn't think about. It's the little ones you got to worry about. And at first, whenever he used it in the first interaction, it was kind of like a dunk. At first, I don't know, kind of coming back around to show that he was truly still the king or one in power sort of thing. And, and it was like, yeah, you're the little ones, and whatever. I'm still controlling whatever. But then now it's like, well, damn, now you are the one I am worried to be. Yeah, you are my fate. Yeah. You are the end of my time. And I guess they didn't show him die at all, which is interesting. I guess they are just gone. But it doesn't do anything to Young, I guess. That doesn't change Kid Blue's fate at all. I was thinking of if that would have done anything, but no. That is when he grows up to die, I guess. Well, no, he does. Kid Blue.
He actually dies eventually, immediately after.
That's true. So, I guess just coincidence that he died.
That's what's funny is like there's linearity, but there's not, because like the idea that time, if you can time travel, the idea is that all of it's happening at once, essentially. Like there is no linearity to it. If you can plop in at any point in a timeline, it's all happening. So, like you want to poke holes. Yeah, if he immediately dies there, then should Jeff Daniels' character ever have existed type shit? It's no, but like it should. Because
there has to be the one. There is sort of a linearity to it. Like one has to come, but the chicken or the egg, I guess, sort of thing. But there's this awesome kind of thought experiment of if you make yourself Schrodinger's cat, and you like have a 100% chance of either killing yourself or staying alive, and you do this for infinity, then eventually, if there is truly infinite universe, multiverses, whatever, then you will eventually remain at your one true self. Like you will have one remaining version of your consciousness, sort of thing. And this is like, if this is able to be done, it proves the multiversal theory, sort of thing. If you can, I don't know, kill every version of yourself and only have one remaining at the end. And I feel like that's kind of like what the Rainmaker was going for. I feel like he knew what he became, and that it's not truly Joe like making the decision to make the good Rainmaker come about. It's that the Rainmaker knows all of this, and he's like ridding himself of all of the bad ones and all of the timelines that he does grow up to be bad. And then he found out a way, this is I guess the first time, or maybe the only way that it's possible for him to become the good one, like out of like sort of a Avengers Endgame, Doctor Strange looks at all 14 million whatever, and this is just the one where he comes out being good. And so, it is like a worthy sacrifice on Joe's part, because he doesn't even like, he's doing it fully in his mind just for the betterment of the kid. Like that is it. And it's beautiful there. But then if it is truly Sid like kind of controlling and pulling the strings, I don't really think it lessens his sacrifice, because like in Joe's mind, like younger Joe is doing it all the same sort of thing.
Right.
So like it is this free will, or I don't know, or like if it was all predestined sort of thing. But no, I think like that's why I love this type of movie, is that even after it's over, I can think of theories of Sid and what he's going on to do, and all of, if this same loop is going to happen again, or if the world is truly changed. I don't know. It's this, we have no clue of how time travel works at all. Like it is just something I would hope that I can talk to my future or past self and not just disintegrate.
Dude, what a sick fucking idea too, by the way. Like just the launching off point that is time travel doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
That alone is a great idea, and being like, oh, but that doesn't mean it can't interact with you. Like that I love the tagline for this movie, hunted by your future, haunted by your past.
Ooh.
That's hard. Ooh.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
There was just from the outset, there is some brilliant ideas going on here, and I think the execution on those ideas is very, very fulfilling. Yeah, man, I had just like the best time watching this. It's been one that for a really long time I've been excited to get around to. I bought it on Blu-ray probably 6 months ago, and I hadn't cracked it open yet. So I finally had the pleasure. There's an audio commentary with Rian Johnson that I will almost certainly be diving into at some point.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Pulled the 5-star for you on Letterboxd.
It did. It did. Whenever something, and it's the only one of March. The first, it's one of two in the last. In the last couple months. I've been a lot more stringent with my 5 stars too, ever since switching to that rating system. I've been like, oh, does it really get that? Does it really get that? It does. It does. It just, it made me cry. There's some images that are just, when it comes to the mother's love and stuff, like, and I mean, the kid is a brilliant fucking actor too, by the way. Like that kid puts on a fucking performance that makes it really, really impossible not to care about him. Whenever Joe goes and finds him in the corn or in the cane, and he's covered in blood, and he just kind of looks up at him, and then he hugs him. Dude,
oh my God.
Fucks me up.
Dude.
And then Emily Blunt realizing she has nothing to worry about with him, and like just that whole sequence is so fucking good. And then whenever he's holding them up and he's looking at Emily Blunt, she's like, "It's okay, baby. It's all right. Calm down." Oh my God, dude. And then the kid starts crying. Oh my God. Like I'm just a fucking mess. And like when a movie that is as out there in sci-fi and crime and blood-soaked and all this stuff that can still do that, yeah, man. Like you're ticking all the right boxes for me. So yeah, it did end up getting the 5. That does not translate to a 10 on the cinemillimeter, ironically, but
that's true.
The 5 on the letterbox does resonate with me. I felt like it earned that.
I do agree.
It's also it's the 4th Rian Johnson movie to get 5 stars out of me on Letterboxd. The only one that hasn't is Glass Onion.
That makes sense. Yeah, I've made the switch, I guess, just this year with you, and I don't know. Tron Legacy was the only one to, I don't know, a rewatch that, it's not a, it's just it is a 5 for me, but I feel like a different category of 5. I've just gotten so used to not putting 5 stars that I just didn't think about it. But no, this would be the first one I think of this year that I can say is a 5. It got kind of close with Sunshine's, but there was some hesitation. I feel like there was still something that I wanted a little more out of Sunshine. But this one, no, I did cry. Like it did make me cry, and that's like I don't know if I can get to the point of crying.
I would say that this month my top 2 were this and Sunshine, and they are for very different reasons. I find Sunshine electrifying. Like I find that movie like. It excites me in a way that like it's really formally elegant. I think the tonal balance is incredible. I think it's really like I would definitely, and as much as I enjoy the way this movie looks, I think Sunshine is just probably the best looking movie we had this month. It's a gorgeous fucking film. So like there's a lot to like in both areas, but for completely different reasons for me. I think that there's just there's something ironically more human about this story that I think really resonates. But yeah, beautiful.
I don't know. I did not expect it. But Rian Johnson, I should not doubt you again. I'm
never.
Yeah, I was. I'm sorry. I was on the wrong side of the fence at first with your Star Wars movie. But I've come around on that.
We all grow.
I think. Yeah,
we all grow.
Yeah.
No, and see the thing is that I was like when it came to the Star sequel trilogy, it was always so fascinating. We were also a very impressionable age. 15 when the first one came out, 17 when the second one came out. You're more than capable of thinking for yourself, but like you are very susceptible to the influence of people who you believe are smarter than you.
The peer pressure was strong.
Yeah, and everybody fucking hated The Last Jedi for some goddamn reason. Because Luke Skywalker wasn't an all-powerful deity.
Good old Palpatine. Yeah, just I don't know, kind of lazy excuses. It felt like now. Looking at it now, they're very lazy excuses.
No, but that's why I'm like I think that just as far as filmmaking goes, it's hard to deny that's. I mean, it's for me easily the best film in the Disney era, but for Star Wars that is. But I mean, and probably the best film Disney has produced in a long fucking time. Now that I think about it a little harder, but yeah, I don't know. I love Rian Johnson. I'm there for anything he does. You got to watch Poker Face on Peacock. Whew. Incredible show. Natasha Lyonne, private detective drama comedy. Super funny. Okay. Super fun. Super good. First episode has Adrian Brody in it. There's always like a fun guest star in every episode. It's cool. It's a great sort of adventure of the week, mystery of the week sort of vibe. So yeah, Poker Face, definitely got to check that out too. All episodes directed by Rian Johnson, so that's hella cool.
Okay.
But yeah, season 2 coming soon. So yeah, I guess I'm plugging Poker Face hard. But yeah, Rian Johnson is the shit. I'm a big fan. So but yeah, I don't really have much else to say about Looper, I don't think.
Yeah, I think I've kind of covered it too. I think I've gone all the theory juices or theory lines I was going to go down. But yeah, I think that's about it for what I got to.
That's about it. All right, then I will do the plugs, and then we will rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. If you would, leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. It is a great help to us. You can subscribe on YouTube, look up The Cinementalists, and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe wherever you're listening to, if that is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else. You might actually end up getting automatic downloads if you do that, which is huge for us. If you want to just throw us a bone, hit the download button. As soon as it's done, go ahead and uninstall that so it's not taking up any space on yours. That doesn't affect our numbers at all beyond adding to it. You could download as many as you want, uninstall them, and I wouldn't give a shit one bit. That'd be awesome.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, we get those downloads no matter what. Once it's been done, it's done. You can uninstall it and it's fine. But yeah, leave that 5-star rate and review. Share with whoever you know who likes movies, which is probably quite a few people. A lot of people like movies. Big industry. Big fans. You got to go ahead and send this to them to check out. We've got something big coming up the next couple months, baby. We are spending it on the Mission Impossible franchise. It's Tom Cruise season, baby. Dead Reckoning, or Final Reckoning, on the horizon here towards the end of May. I cannot wait. We will be tuning in, and you will be tuning in week after week for the entire Mission Impossible franchise. That's what we've got going the next 8 weeks. So starting next week with the first one, the Brian De Palma directed, Tom Cruise leading, John Voight antagonist type shit. I am ready. Let's go ahead and dive into the Mission Impossible franchise starting next week. We have got something on Mondays for you. Twin Peaks Fire Pod with me. Our Twin Peaks podcast, friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. We are hitting Season 1, Episode 6 next Monday, so we're nearing the end of Season 1. I have watched the show a couple times. Joe has never seen it, so we're diving into that mystery of who killed Laura Palmer. Listening to Joe kind of go on, you liked the theories this week. You can't even fucking fathom what's going on over there. If you have watched Twin Peaks, go ahead and check it out. If you haven't, start watching Twin Peaks, baby, and then keep up with our show on it. We've got Andor coming up in a couple weeks for Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. That's less than a month out now, and I cannot wait. But yeah, let's go ahead and rate this movie. How do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10?
All right, here we are. So yeah, I will agree. I didn't put the 5-star in at first, but I went back and retroactively did it. But yeah, not quite a 10. I can't say it's a 10. But
yeah, it's a different vibe. The 10 on the sentimental-meter versus the letterboxed 5.
We gave Sunshine a 9, and I know I'm comfortably above Sunshine. I mean, is it as close to a 10 as possible? I don't know.
I would go 9.5 personally.
That feels a little better.
I think 9.5 is where I'm landing. You know, I think that 9.75 is reserved for some of the heaviest hitters of all.
Yeah.
And while this is close to being that, I don't think I can quite give it that little. I mean, that 0.25 bump. It's so funny splitting hairs like that, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah,
we've got our methods over here. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. There's a method to the madness for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I think it got me to cry, but not like a sob. I'm not losing
I teared up.
Yeah,
I teared up.
And I like to lose my marbles every now and then. That's nice. But no, yeah, I think a 9.5 is very worthy still. That is yeah.
I mean, it's formally very, very elegantly done. It's very neat, very impressive, super well edited. It could have, it could have gotten lost in the edit, I think, a little bit, but it didn't. It's very easy to follow. The writing is very, very tight. The screenplay is very tight. The performances are really good. I struggle to tell you a place where I feel like this movie fails. I think that the like one spot where I'm like, ooh, I would have liked a little bit more is score. But.
True.
That's mostly because I didn't notice the score. It's not like I was like, wow, the score is bad. It's not. It's just it just is, which any movie can be improved by a great score. So like that's maybe that's what I was missing. Maybe those tingles, those goosebump moments could have been hit a little bit harder if the music swelled at the right moment and hit me in the feels the right way. But yeah, no, that's where I'm at. I think that the only place that I'm like maybe I could have used a little bit more was on the soundtrack, but even then, it wasn't bad, so got to give it some credit.
Yeah, it's joining some good company with the 9.5s. It's joining Beale Street. It's joining Nope, Challengers, and Return of the King are the 9.5s that we've given out.
Okay.
So yeah, it's some great
eclectic
company.
Mix there. Yeah, very, very eclectic mix. Don't even think I would begin to compare those movies in any other context.
They are all equivalent movies.
Everybody. When you mention, what do you call a 9.5 out of 10? Naturally, everybody would go Challengers and Return of the King.
Obviously, they're equivalent.
Yeah, of course, but maybe throw in Looper. But no, it's a funny. I love the sentimental meter. It always makes me happy just to see how shit shakes out because it's so goofy. But
I just love
yeah,
the
hard
word
to assign. Yeah, the
sentimental.
sentimentalometer. It's
Yeah.
always fun.
I can't
It's
ever
always
do it.
funny to try to assign a numerical value to art. We're gonna do it because it's funny. But yeah, nobody should ever take that shit too seriously.
Yeah. I feel like it's why we do. It at the
I'm a ranker at heart. I love ranking shit. That's something I love making lists.
lists.
It's something I've done ever since I was very, very young. So I love ranking, and so I can't help it but be somewhat numerically minded. Not mathematically, numerically. I'm not mathematically inclined, but yeah, I think with that we can conclude this episode of The Sentimentalists. We'll be back next week with the first Mission Impossible movie, baby. I am so happy we're there officially. I can't wait. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I saw it. The path was a circle, round and round. So I changed it.
Beautiful. There